Welcome everybody, and thank you for attending this Lunch and Learn session organised in collaboration between the Knowledge and Library Services at NCIC and CLIC, the Cumbria Learning and Improvement Collaborative. My name is Ashley Eaton and I am from CLIC, and today we are joined by Laura Heaton-Sutton, who is the Personalised Care Lead, also part of CLIC for NHS North Cumbria CCG, and she is presenting Personalised Care is Everyone's Business. So these Lunch and Learns are a relaxed and informal space for health and social care staff to come together and share experiences.
Thanks very much, Ashley. So, as Ashley said, my name's Laura Heaton-Sutton, pronouns she, her, and I'm going to be talking about personalised care today. And we're going to cover a few things. So, we're going to cover what personalised care is. We're going to have a look at the personalised care model and how that can impact current personal opinions and staff and patient service user opinions around personalised care and how it's delivered. And we're going to look at challenging practice, especially around how we can impact on health inequalities and the impact of personalised care approach on our service users and the way that they interact with us. So first things first, we look at this image and we see somebody on an island and they see a boat. And what matters to that person? Well, that person's, oh, there's a boat, there's company. And that's one perspective. But when you look at it from the other side, the person in the boat is thinking, oh, there's land. So you've got to look at it that people have different perspectives of things that were the way that we interact with them and the way that we approach their care. So when you look at the fact that it's a matter of perspective, we might look at the medical model. We might look at how somebody comes in with a specific need with regards to diabetes or arthritis, or it might be a different health condition. And we look at that person and it's how we address that. But when you look at the patient's point of view or the service user's point of view, they're coming in and they might be feeling frustrated, they might have fear. So it is that matter of perspective. And we need to incorporate that when we're actually delivering care. And that's what personalised care is. It's looking at what matters to that person. So if you can, get your phones out, scan the QR code. I know I'm the QR code queen. Most people who've met me before will know that I like to use a good QR code. And if you can scan the QR code on the screen, if you're unable to do that, if you can link in by, I think Ashley's going to put it in the chat, the www.slido.com, and then the passcode's on the screen at the minute, and Ashley's going to share that as well. So if you can link in with that, and what I want you to do is I want you to tell me some things that matter to you. And we've already got some examples on there. Lunch, that was Amy, but lunch is important to people. Family is important. Family is important to me. Somebody's just put my child in there. I think that's really important. That's an adaptation of family. Have we got any more? Friends, perfect. Family, sunshine, and you can put as many as you want in there. I think it's really important to note that all these are things that are personal to individuals, and that's what's important. And when we're looking at care, that's what personalisation is. It's looking at what is important to the person. And I love that. My dog, I still love the fact that wine is on there. Being able to go out, I think that's supposed to be kindness. Some of the things that are coming up on there really show exactly what we want to be looking at with personalised care. So I'm going to let you carry on filling that for now. I'll leave it open to you. But what is personalised care? Personalised care means people have a choice and control over the way their care is planned and delivered. And it's based on what matters to that individual and their individual strengths and needs. So it's about what matters to them in the future and how we can make that achievable and manage the risks at the same time. And it's based upon a model of personalised care. If we look at the model, we have the whole population, which is 100% of the population, and we have to attack it with universal approaches. So we have to look at community capacity to manage those needs. So community services, third sector, community care organisations, and social prescribers, really, really key. It's supporting people to stay well in their environment and having the informed decision. So them having all the information, having the information about the risks and being able to make the decision themselves alongside trained professionals. Then you've got people with multiple long-term conditions or MLTC. We've got to have that proactive approach. So it's that, how can we enable them to live well with their conditions, but it's supporting them to build knowledge and skills and confidence to manage their conditions themselves, so that we have that less likelihood of that revolving door. And then the top 5% are people with complex needs, and they need intensive approaches of personalised care, where we're actually being really proactive, looking at personalised care and support planning via multidisciplinary teams. And it's really important that we look at the different levels, but actually the whole population needs that input of the community and the social prescribers. So the 6 principles of personalised care include shared decision making, which means that you're actually having those decisions, having those discussions with your patients or your service users about what matters to them and enabling their choices. So actually showing them the risks, enabling them to do things that they might not be able to do at the moment, which will reduce that revolving door again. Social prescribing is really key, and it's about non-clinical community services. So it's about things, activities they might be able to do in their own environments, or in the local communities. Integrated budgets, personal health budgets and integrated personal budgets. So it's enabling them to tailor their own care and support to that their individual needs. And it's really important that we look at that personalised care and support planning around that. And supported self-management, I've mentioned it before, it's about giving them the knowledge to actually manage their own conditions. It empowers those individuals to feel that they're in control of their own life, and that's what personalised care does. The barriers to this is that people don't have the time or the resources. Clinicians, staff, anybody that faces patients or service users may say there isn't enough time to do this, or time with people is so short, or it takes too long to do personalised care. It's too much to cover if I do this, then what do I not do? And people often say, I don't have time to do everything. Staff are experiencing unrealistic time pressures, therefore personalised care can feel quite challenging at times, but we can tackle this. We need to take the time it takes, and it takes less time. And what that means is, if we take the time now to have that personalised care discussion and find out what matters to that person, and actually mould their care plan around what matters to them, then we are reducing the time that they come back in. For example, if somebody is isolated in community, and they keep coming into A&E for that contact, that human interaction, then if we find that out at that point by having that conversation, what matters to them, we can put things in place like third sector organisations like Age UK to get them out and interacting with people, or introduce them to technology where they can actually have FaceTime with their family and friends. And it's really important to do that because, like Wadsworth Longfellow says, it takes less time to do a thing right than it does to explain why you did it wrong in the long term, because that will keep happening if we don't actually get it right now. So how does this impact on health inequalities? By having a personalised care approach, we can increase community involvement, and personalised care has the potential to make a significant contribution to promoting inequalities and reducing these health inequalities, because we can improve understanding of health information by people with lower health literacy. We can make it more readable, tailor communication to health literacy levels, increasing the knowledge and skills and confidence of people, and that's really important when we're enabling choice. It improves outcome for people from disadvantaged backgrounds, and it enables you to tailor it to that individual. and they feel empowered then to do things. Increasing choice and control and the ability to employ their own personal assistants so that they're in control of who's looking after them as well. And that community involvement, I'll go back to it again. The third sector is really important. People don't realise how many services are available, and it's really important that we know that there are links out there. And it will therefore improve outcomes for people from disadvantaged backgrounds. So what are the outcomes if we do all this? Better health and wellbeing outcomes, because people are empowered to keep themselves healthy in community. Reduced visits. Now, this is something that I need to mention. Reduced visits. People are less likely to have a medical emergency requiring an unplanned visit to A&E or the GP. And that's because they're managing the conditions better. They understand their conditions because we've had those conversations and we're empowering them with the knowledge. But not only that, we're understanding the problems that underlie that we might not have picked up because they're not necessarily a medical issue. There are things like loneliness, isolation. It might be that somebody once had pets and they can't have pets anymore and they want that interaction with the animals. It might be that they've always done joinery. It might be something like that. And it's how we actually interact with them and say that's what matters to them. So we mentioned family and friends and the dog, and it all mentioned before wine. Somebody mentioned wine. It might be that they can't get out to the shops anymore. We can arrange things like that and actually put them in support services. So it's really important. It means that services are more effective and they're joined up, and we're working together across the integrated care system to make sure this happens. So we're working together with Cumbria Care, third sector, the community teams, and across the acute. So it means that all services are joined up so everybody knows what's happening and we're not having to repeat things. The problem is at the minute is that service user opinion is quite poor. Only 40% of adults have reported that they've had a personalised care conversation with a healthcare professional or somebody in the GP practice about what is important to them, and we need to change that. So how can we make a change? Conversation starters. So these are some conversation starters that are probably used far too regularly. So what is the matter with you? Or we are providing you with this medication. So it's telling people, it's directing people rather than giving them that choice to actually have those conversations. We've set you out a package of care that meets your needs, but have you had that conversation first? So how can we do this differently? And that's where I want your input now. The same link that you had before, or you can scan again. So how can we make a change? How can we start a conversation differently than telling a patient what we're giving them, or by saying, what is the matter with you? So there's an example there. So is what is going on for you right now? My example would be what matters to you, what things will make a difference when you go home, things like that. So if you could, again, use your Slido, use your QR code if you need to rescan it, and then just put in some text, a different way of questioning. So if anybody's got anything, I'm hoping somebody's typing. I might even join in on this one. How can we support you? And I think that's really important. How are you feeling today? These are really good. Two people have put that. It's about how that person feels and about how we can impact on that. So I'm just scanning as well. I'm going to add my bit in. What matters to you? And I'm going to add another one as well. What would be helpful for you to talk about today? That's a really good start. And it's about how can we help you? How about this one? How can we help you to achieve your goals or to stay well? So, have you any concerns? Some of these are really, really good. What would be helpful for you to talk about today? So that is personalised care and how we can make a change. So take some of these back. If you hear anybody saying, "What's the matter?" Try and change the language, and that's where we can make a start. So there's some further resources I've put on the slides, and I'm sure the slides will be available for you if anybody wants them. There's some links to long-term plan, personalised care approach, Personalised Care Institute, and there's also a video there about personalised care. It goes into the model a little bit more. And with regards to feedback, I think Ashley's going to put it in the text, so in the chat, you can get feedback. So if anybody's got any questions, please by all means ask.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Laura. That was fantastic. Has anybody got any questions for Laura at all? I know some people have logged in today as a guest, so if you would like a copy of the slides, if you could just pop your email address in the chat as well, that would be great, and we can get them sent to you. Any questions for Laura at all?
I just have a comment, really, Sheila Marsh from the Library Service. It just rings true. Obviously, we're not in the business of providing healthcare, but we're in the business of providing information. I love your reference to health literacy, and there are some useful resources. I'm sure my colleague Tracy Garbarino will be able to put some links in there to some of the communication styles that you can, change the way that you communicate to meet personal needs, different levels, and there's different tools and techniques that are quite helpful. I think Tracy's hoping to do a session at the Lock on that topic as well. So no, really good, really interesting. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila.
Laura, what kind of personalised training is available to people?
Okay. Well, at the minute we are developing a personalised care training package for all staff, staff and volunteers across all sectors, that gets you talking about personalised care rather than just being an e-learning where you're just reading about what it is. It gets you involved and actually gets you thinking about how you can have those conversations and practicing those conversations and building a basic personalised care support plan. So that's a pilot that's going to be going on that involves some NCIC staff, some staff in Cumbria Care, and we're going to be putting that out there. But I'm also developing the training for the specific personalised care training staff. So the staff who are in communities already, who work as social prescribers, health and wellbeing coaches. So we are developing the training and the training matrix for them at the minute. And hopefully we can get this knowledge out there so that people can start having these conversations and changing the way we think and having that difference in the way we actually, that different mindset, I suppose, of how we approach care, because it's about the person and the individual. It's not about their condition. So, yeah.
Thanks, Laura. Any questions at all for Laura? Please feel free to pop yourself off of mute as well if you would like to ask any questions.
It's terrible when it's silence, isn't it? It's like, does anybody think that they can go back and change the way that they speak now? Because it might be that you're just speaking different to a colleague instead of directing them to do something. It's about that slightly different way of thinking, and just having those conversations. It might be that you see somebody's upset and just say, what's going on? What is it that is what matters to you, not what is the matter? And you might find that you are that point of contact rather than just being somebody who just goes, oh, okay, you'll be fine. So yeah, and it's a way of actually getting information out of people. So yeah,
I think it's relevant regardless of your role. It's good customer care, isn't it? So not just assuming that you know the person that walks through the door or contacts you on the phone or email or whatever, that you sort of, oh, I know what you want. It's actually really understanding and giving those open questions, so it gives them the opportunity for you to understand better what they need.
very much so. And the the training that we're looking at putting on will involve that kind of coaching conversation where you're using those open questions and trying to gather information about that person, and you're actively listening to them and not just going, oh well, this person's got this condition or this person's got this going on, and you're not blinkered anymore. It's kind of opening it up to the whole situation and not just that what is right in front of you there and then. And that's what's really important about personalised care. So yeah, I don't think we've got any more questions. I think everybody's silent. It's quite unnerving, isn't it?
Okay then, right. So thank you ever so much for everybody for attending. Hopefully we will see you at the next Lunch and Learn. Thank
Thanks
you.
everybody.